Have you ever wondered why in Bangston's image cycling process, which is a list of like about 20 very, very, very selfish desires, why you do your own selfish visualizing while you are actually trying to heal somebody else? In this video, I give you my thoughts about that. Enjoy. All right, so somebody asked me, I think in the group, I think it was this group, like something about why the images on Bankston's image cycling list should be selfish. That seems to kind of go against the rub of a lot of healing, which seems so altruistic, and it seems like non-attachment and selfishness don't seem to fit together. Like, how do you really, 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 really care and be detached at the same time? Or how do you get supremely unselfish and just let go and let God and still care? So whenever there's these kind of polarities where it's not quite clear, that's miracle place, if you ask me. That means there's this polarity, and there's something in that rub that invites you to go to a different dimension with it. Because it's just it can't be solved if you're just like fighting it out at this level. Which is what I hate about most religious discussions. Like, you're just fighting about Bible quotes or philosophic definitions instead of letting this kind of thing emerge out of the paradox. So what is this paradox of selfishness versus altruism in healing? Because if you've watched my my work at all, I just say almost every time how detached you need to be. And yet, when you do your rapid image cycling list, your list of 20 items that you really deeply care about, it needs to be selfish. So how does that work energetically, philosophically? So let me give you some of my ideas about that. And instead of saying, oh yeah, I know that, my list is fine, my list is nice and selfish, I would invite you to consider that there's something here for you. That you know, when we go through these basics, that we can be selfish in a new way. We can incarnate as ourselves in a fresh way that will actually enhance our ability to help each other on these distance healing events. All right. So one thought that occurs to me is you can define magic, which is like something kind of coming out of nothing without apparent mechanism. There is a mechanism, but it's not obvious to the physical, to the regular Joe Muggle. There's horizontal magic, where you're like kind of bossing the universe around, and you're kind of like visualizing it and making it happen and like directing it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of managing things. And then there's what I would call vertical magic. Oh, and that kind of magic messes with people. Like, I don't really want everybody blessing me with perfect eyesight. Like, okay, so I'm going to get surgery in a few weeks for my eyes. And I don't particularly ask for healing from people. Like, I might decide, like, I want to do that, but I'm going to put some parameters on it. So, and I don't want, because there's judgment implied there. Like, if I ask for healing for my obesity, let's do that. Like, I need to lose some weight. I don't really want people, there's like, people put all their stuff onto that and they say, here, help her do this. It's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. This is what I want to work on, and I don't really want your help. Thank you very much. Does anybody else feel sort of like you don't want everybody praying about you? Maybe you do. Maybe you just don't care. Maybe you're desperate. You're like, whatever, that'll help. That's one mood, and I respect that, and that's fine, and I do that too. But in some of these issues where there's a lot of self-development going on, I don't really want it to just magically go away. I kind of attach to my problems, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It really isn't, because it's the grist for the mill of my life that I care about. So when okay, so that's the horizontal piece of permission. Like, you need to have people's permission before you start doing things that are going to really change them, because they might not be done with their problem. And if it goes away, they'll just get another one that's very similar, because they weren't quite done. It's sort of the healing has to emerge out of the patient, usually from an unconscious part of them, and then it holds. So one way to orchestrate this so that it actually works is to get somebody's permission. And then if somebody's fat and they don't want help losing weight, you're not going to try to fix that for them. If somebody genuinely appreciates your help, like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, that's very different, because they're inviting you to help them with a project that they have. It's very different than feeling judged and criticized, like, yeah, we should all be thin and rich and healthy in order to feel good about ourselves. Like, anyway, there's just that little bit of issue going on. So that's the permission part of making sure your list is about you, but if it's about somebody else, make sure you have their permission so that their self is involved with, their conscious self is involved with the magic of what we're doing. And then the other part is just this vertical alignment inside yourself. This is what makes us human. Like, we're not animals, right? We're not insects. With all due respects to insects and four-legged friends, we are vertical beings. And just the metaphor of that is this alignment with our own North Star, our own individuality. This is something very distinctly human. And I would suggest that, like, I've had people complete muggle people put their hands on people while I spin, and tumors cool down and pain goes away. It's like they don't even have to do anything but be human. They just have to be themselves, willing to help their friend. You know, they're not channeling, they don't know how to be a healer. But if I have somebody snuggle with their golden retriever who loves them dearly, probably more than any human could, it just doesn't do the same thing. So there's something about this vertical alignment, about our human ability, that is special to humans. And when we go into a tribal consciousness, an amoeba consciousness, and out of our upright consciousness, we're not as powerful. It still works to be in this tribally oriented amoebic group spirit. And in fact, whether we're aware of it or not, that's where most of us live most of the time. But when we can pop out of it into ourself and spin, it sort of helps everybody else find their vertical alignment, their alignment between heaven and earth, to that information source that teaches their body how to get rid of the cancer, teaches their body how to make their digestion work, teaches their body how to get rid of those rashes, those allergies, those things. There's an information source that's actually quite different for each person. Okay? And so deep and utter respect for another person can be obtained by deeply and utterly respecting our own experience. What are my selfish desires? They're not the same as yours. There's probably a lot of overlap, but what do I really care about? This isn't, when I open my heart to what I really care about and say, yeah, I would like to create that. I would like to experience that. That opening to what I, with a capital I, would like is very different than, well, I should do this and I should do that, and I don't have enough money for that, so let me just want this. And I don't have time for that, so let me just like shrink until I'm no longer vertically aligned. I'm sort of like flattened. And then when I go in this flattened state and try to heal somebody, It doesn't work as well as if I was more aligned with myself. And I think the most powerful place to be aligned with ourselves is in the present moment, just being honest with where we're at, like warts and all. Being aligned with myself is not about this perfect alignment with love and light. It's really aligned with the present moment, which sometimes is fun and sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's enlightened and sometimes it's rather unenlightened, but it's honest. It's true. So when we have items on our list that are about us, that helps, and we cycle, we are able to resonate with ourselves. And that helps us get the stuff on our list, but it helps anybody in our presence resonate with themselves, because we're not asking them to want all our stuff. They don't even know what's on our list. We're just literally vibrating, resonating with the thoughts of the things that we care about. And that when you're around somebody who cares deeply about themselves, it's easier for you to care about yourself. And no, I don't think narcissists are actually caring for themselves. They're usually just terrified, right? So it's not like everybody be a narcissist. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the opposite. It's like until we can be really aligned, we can't be truly generous. Okay. So with that little bit of teaching, let's go into the healing. All right. So